The LA Kings put a 3-game winning streak to the test tonight against one of the NHL's top teams. We talk about that and more on this edition of Locked On LA Kings.
You are Locked On Kings, your daily podcast on the Los Angeles Kings, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, Kings fans, welcome to Locked On LA Kings, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thanks for making Locked On LA Kings your first listen every day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. I'm Eddie Garcia, your host of Locked On LA Kings. I've worked in sports media for the past 30 years. I'm also co-host of the Puck Podcast, a weekly NHL review show that's been putting out content for the last 18 years, and a passionate LA Kings fan for over 30 years. Enjoy the NFL season with a big return on FanDuel. New customers can place a $5 bet, and you'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. Coming up on today's show, we'll tell you about a big upcoming NHL event involving at least one LA King, and we will also get you updated on all the details you need to know about tonight's big game against the Dallas Stars. But the LA Kings back in action after 3 well-deserved days off. I saw that the team got into a bit of a golf tournament, team golf tournament that happened over the last couple of days. This was after the Kings had played 5 games in 7 days. So just one game this week, and that is tonight against the Dallas Stars. It's game number 26 on the NHL season for LA as they face one of the top teams in the Western Conference, the Dallas Stars. It is the first of 3 meetings between the two teams. Kings are playing the final 2 games of a stretch where they had 7 of 9 at home, and even the 2 road games were still in the state of California. So we thought this was going to be an important stretch of games for the Kings to get some much-needed wins and points on home ice, and so far so good. The Kings are 5-2 over the first 7 games of that stretch. It includes their current 3-game winning streak, which is a season high. However, they will take on 2 of the better teams in the NHL to close out this stretch of games, the Minnesota Wild on Saturday, and tonight's opponent, the Dallas Stars, which again is also riding a 3-game winning streak. As for the Kings, they check in with a record of 14-8-3. They enter the night second in the Pacific Division, still behind the Vegas Golden Knights in the division. Kings are 5th in the Western Conference and 10th in the NHL. 31 points in 25 games for LA. Kings are coming off a solid performance. It resulted in a 5-2 win over the Ottawa Senators on Saturday as the Kings improved to 8-2-1 on home ice, one of the better home records in the NHL. Tonight's opponent, the Dallas Stars, are 16-8 on the year, 3rd in the Central Division, but 4th in the Western Conference and 7th in the NHL. They've got 32 points in 24 games. Dallas started the season with 4 straight wins. They then kind of alternated wins and losses for a while. But again, like the Kings, currently riding a 3-game winning streak. Their last game was Monday, a 2-1 victory over the Utah Hockey Club. Stars are 6-6 on the road this season with that win in Utah. Kings are led by their captain, Anze Kopitar. He's got 29 points. Adrian Kempe has 24 points, and Alex Laferriere 20 points. Those are the 3 Kings players so far on the season with 20 or more points. Kempe is the team's leading goal scorer with 12, and Laferriere right behind him with 11. The Stars are led by Matt Duchene in both points and goals. He has 28 points and 12 goals on the season. Mason Marchment has 24 points, and Tyler Seguin has 20, although he's not playing tonight. We'll give you the details on that coming up. Also, Marchment and Rope Hintz each have 10 goals on the season. If you're wondering about Stars standout Jason Robertson, well, he's off to a slow start this year. 5 goals, 9 assists for 14 points so far on the season, and hopefully he doesn't heat up against the LA Kings tonight. Kings are expected to once again go with David Rittich in net, continuing his dominance on home ice, hopefully, on the season. Rittich is 9-6 in 16 appearances, a 2.48 goals against average, and an .887 save percentage. But at home, David Rittich is 6-1, a goals against average of 1.44 and a .931 save percentage. He's been a different netminder at Crypto.com Arena. And by the way, the one loss on home ice for Big Save Dave, he allowed 1 goal in a 1-0 loss to Buffalo. So he's been lights out on home ice so far this season. Hopefully that continues tonight. The Stars are expected to go with standout goalie Jake Ottinger in net. He checks in with a record of 13-4, 2.38 goals against average, and a .915 save percentage. On the road this season, though, Ottinger 4-3. His goals against average is 2.99, and his save percentage is .895. So much different goalie on the road than at home. Kind of like David Riddick. Ottinger did not start the Stars' last game in Utah. In his last start, though, he allowed 1 goal on 27 shots in a 3-1 win over the Winnipeg Jets. Checking the team numbers head-to-head, Kings versus Stars. The Kings check in 16th in the NHL in goals scored per game at 3.04. Dallas is 9th in the league, scoring goals per game at 3.38. The Kings are 5th in the NHL in allowing goals per game, 2.68. The Stars are 4th in the NHL, right above the Kings at 2.54. So both the Kings and Stars, two of the better defensive teams in the NHL. Power play, Kings are 25th in the league, operating at 16.4%. Dallas 22nd in the NHL with the man advantage at 18%. And the Kings are 16th in the NHL on the penalty kill, 80%. The Stars are 5th in the league at 82.6%. As for injuries, the Kings will be without Trevor Lewis tonight. Lower body injury in the game against Ottawa tonight would have been his 1,000th NHL game, so unfortunate for Trevor to not be able to get that milestone on home ice. A friend of the show, Russell Morgan from Hockey Royalty, reported that Akil Thomas, Arthur Kaliev, and Caleb Jones are all seen on the ice in practice on Tuesday wearing red non-contact jerseys. So apparently all three of those guys are close to being available to return to the ice. Be very interesting to see what happens with Arthur Kaliev and where he fits in. Also, Kings insider Zach Dooley reported earlier today that he had a talk with Kings goalie Darcy Kemper, who's been out with an injury for a while, and he was told by Kemper that his latest injury is not related to the injury from earlier this season, which caused him to lose some time. So if that's accurate, and I have no reason to believe that it isn't, that's good news. We were concerned that this was a re-aggravation or a re-injury to whatever it was that was affecting Darcy Kemper. Apparently, though, he says it isn't. So there was a worry that it could be something that he could re-injure kind of over and over throughout the season, and that this was something that could be with him for the entire season. But at least from that bit of news, I think that's probably a positive note involving Darcy Kemper, who should be back soon. Dallas Stars are going to be without one of their top players. Tyler Seguin, placed on injured reserve earlier today with a lower body injury. He's going to have hip surgery, and he will miss 4 to 6 months. So a big loss for the Dallas Stars, not only for tonight's game, but for the immediate future. Certainly unfortunate for Tyler Seguin, who was having a good year, but something that could help the Kings in tonight's game. As for the keys to victory for the LA Kings, I'm going to go with my number one key, strike first. This looks to be a low-scoring game. Both these teams are really, really good defensively. They've got good goaltending. So getting that first goal can, I really think, help the team that gets that opening goal kind of dictate the style of the game going forward. Likely getting the first goal also goes kind of hand in hand with getting off to a good start. It's not always the case, but usually when you get off to a good start and you're the better team, usually can translate into you getting that first goal. Obviously, the Kings have been really good on home ice. They've had 3 days off. Hopefully the legs are re-energized. The Kings have rested up, and they are going to be ready to go from the opening faceoff. Sometimes you see a few days off. It has the reverse effect. That can't be the case tonight against a good Dallas Stars team. Use that extra rest and get going right from the start and hopefully get the first goal of the game. Number 2, a key for me for the Kings, keep the formula going. We know the Kings are going to be solid defensively. We know they're going to limit shots, but keep the formula working that has been positive for them offensively of late. That is, get on the forecheck, get the energy going, get shots on net, and get to the net. Jake Ottinger is a good goalie, but like all goalies, you can't stop what you can't see. And even if the puck doesn't go in the net, if Ottinger is screened, let's say it hits off him, now, he doesn't know where the rebound's going to go on something like that. So that's an opportunity for the Kings to get rebound chances as well. So that goes hand in hand with getting to the net. But try and make Jake Ottinger as uncomfortable as possible. Get traffic, get shots on net, and good things will happen. And number 3, win the special teams battle. Now, both these teams are below par when it comes to the power play. Both are pretty good on the penalty kill. So if either one of these teams can get a power play goal tonight, I think that would be huge. If the Kings can play with that more up-tempo style, if they can be the aggressor, it should translate into more power play opportunities. Of course, on the flip side of that, stay out of the box as much as possible. Dallas Stars are a very good team. As I mentioned, they're riding a 3-game winning streak, just like LA, but the Stars and their goalie, Jake Ottinger, not the same team on the road as they have been at home. So hopefully home ice can be the key for the Kings tonight. They've been great on home ice so far this season, and their goalie, David Riddick, equally great on home ice. The Kings will be looking at some players in the spotlight tonight. We'll be talking about them next on Locked On LA Kings, your team every day. Get ready to tackle the NFL season with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, because right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets when you win. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on NFL games all in one place. So when you get a hunch in the middle of a game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. You can also bet on local teams in action tonight. That includes our LA Kings hosting the Dallas Stars. Kings are a 1.5 underdog on home ice. The over-under in the game is 5.5 goals. In the NBA, the Lakers are in Miami to face the Heat. Lakers are 2-point underdogs. Over-under in that game is 216. And the Clippers host the Timberwolves. Clips are 3.5-point underdogs at home. Over-under in that one is 214 points. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today. You'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch and make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of the NFL. So the Kings get ready to face the Dallas Stars tonight. What is the lineup going to look like for the LA Kings? Well, we told you about the injury to Trevor Lewis. So if it's just a matter of plugging another player in for Lewis, then you would think Andre Lee would draw in on that fourth line. The rest of the lineup should look the same. Andre Kopitar at center with Adrian Kempe and Trevor Moore. Quentin Byfield centering the second line with Warren Fogle and Tanner Jeannot. Philip Deneau on the third line with Kevin Fiala and Alex Laferriere, and Samuel Hellenius centering the fourth line with Alex Turcotte. And we'll see if it's Andre Lee or not. And also, this from Kings insider Zach Dooley from earlier today. He said it's possible the Kings could go with the 11-7 setup tonight, something they did a lot last season, have not done yet this season. That, of course, is playing with 11 forwards and 7 defensemen. So maybe they don't replace Trevor Lewis with Andre Lee, and they insert an extra defenseman in the lineup. Could be Caleb Jones, could be Kyle Burrows, who we haven't seen in a while. Don't know if that's going to be the case, but keep that in mind if you're watching tonight's game, that the Kings may go with an 11-7 setup, according to Kings insider Zach Dooley. As far as Kings players in the spotlight tonight, of course, always the goaltender. And we talked earlier about David Riddick. He's been fantastic on home ice. And I've mentioned, I think his performance in place of the injured Darcy Kemper of late and all season long has, I believe, earned him the opportunity for more starts for the Kings. Now, going into the season, we thought maybe it was going to be kind of a 1A, 1B situation. It hasn't turned out to be that way. Darcy Kemper, when healthy, has been the number 1, and Riddick has been the clear number 2. But I think he's played so well, and especially on home ice, I think he is deserving of getting some more starts. We'll see if that happens or not once Darcy Kemper returns. But I know we look at goaltenders and we're like, oh, that's the number 1 goalie, that's the number 2 goalie. And in most cases, that is the case with teams. But I do think, David Riddick is trying to be the number 1 goalie. He doesn't care that we all think David Riddick is the number 1. But he's trying to make the decision as difficult as possible for Jim Hiller and his staff. That's exactly what he should be doing. He wants to play just like every other player. And again, I think he's really earned consideration to getting more starts once Darcy Kemper returns. He's been that good. Hopefully he'll continue to be that way on home ice tonight. The biggest player, though, in the spotlight for me tonight is Kevin Fiala. Coming off his best game of the season. Can he do it again? Will he do it again? Now, Jim Hiller pointed him out as the best player on the ice in that win over Ottawa, where he had a goal and an assist, both elite plays on his part. And he needs to be, we've talked about this all season long, he needs to be one of the better players on the ice for the Kings more often than not. He really hasn't been that so far this year. Hopefully the last game was an indication of Kevin turning it around, because he is a very talented player. We know what he can do. He has elite skills when he has his mind in the right mindset. And again, hopefully the last game against Ottawa is going to be a start of something positive for Kevin Fiala. He definitely has the talent, but has not been consistent this year for the LA Kings. Who has been consistent for the Kings? How about Adrian Kempe? Red hot right now. Last 10 games for Juice, 7 goals and 12 points. He's on pace for 39 goals and 79 points. That would be the second most goals he's ever scored in his career in a season. And that would be a career high for points in a season, if, of course, he can keep this up. Hopefully, he'll also have a little extra juice tonight, because he got some good news earlier today. We're going to share that with you coming up in just a moment. His line mate, the captain, Anze Kopitar, not a coincidence that when Kempe is going right, Kopitar is going right, or vice versa. 3 goals in his last 4 games for Anze Kopitar. Last 10 games, he's got 14 points. The captain, 37 years old, 19th season in the league, on pace for a career high in points with 95 this season. Alex Laferriere, heating up again. He had a bit of a slump. He went 6 games without a point, but back on the hot side of things, a goal and 5 points, 2 goals, I should say, and 5 points in his last 3 games, including the game-winning goal against Anaheim. Also, Alex Laferriere really been noticeable on the forecheck. Going into this season, I talked a lot about a great opportunity for Alex Laferriere. Now, I thought he would be playing on the top line. That hasn't been the case, but it hasn't mattered. He has continued to produce no matter where he is in the lineup. And I had talked about one of the things he needed to do was to be more aggressive going to the net, be a more aggressive player. He has absolutely done that this year. And the forecheck is an example of that. He's not going to blow you away with how physical he is, but getting involved and making the other team's forwards uncomfortable, or the defensemen uncomfortable behind their own net, he's done a good job at that this year. He needs to keep it up. And Alex Turcotte, not getting as much ice time as some of the other players, but he's a plus 11 on the season, tied with Alex Laferriere for the best plus minus amongst the team's forwards. Translation, good things happen when Alex Turcotte is on the ice. Too bad right now it seems like he's only going to get 4th line minutes. If Tanner Jeannot slips at all, then I think he needs to be inserted in his spot. But we'll see. Jeannot's done a pretty good job on the forecheck as well. And I know Jim Hiller has mentioned wanting to have a good, solid forechecker on each line to try and keep that balanced. Quentin Byfield, just 1 goal in his last 10 games, only 3 on the season. We keep waiting and waiting for Q to get it going. Will tonight be the night? That'd be great to see. His next point will be the 100th of his NHL career. And Vladislav Gavrikov, the price tag for the unrestricted free agent at the end of the season keeps going up a little bit more with each passing game as he continues to perform admirably in the absence of Drew Doughty playing on his offside on the top pairing with Mikey Anderson. He is leading the Kings in both average ice time, 23 minutes, 42 seconds per game, and plus minus a plus 12. He's one of the better defensemen in the NHL when you combine time on ice and plus minus. So hopefully we see some good results for all those guys tonight, and that will result in a Kings victory. Up next, we have good news for an LA King and maybe some good news for another one coming up. We'll see. That's next on Locked On LA Kings, your team every day. Hey, PrizePicks is America's #1 daily fantasy sports app with over 5 million active members. It is the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. All you do is pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections and watch the winnings roll in. Just go on the PrizePick app and you could be a winner, and you could win up to 100 times your money on PrizePicks with as little as 4 correct picks. Will Anze Kopitar or Adrian Kempe have more than a 1.5 tonight? Will Kevin Fiala have more than a half goal? Those are actual picks you can make right now on PrizePicks, the best way to get in on action in most states, including California. Download the PrizePick app today and use the code LOCKEDONNHL and get $50 instantly when you play $5. That's the code LOCKEDONNHL on PrizePicks to get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even have to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. PrizePicks, run your game. You may or may not be aware of an NHL event that is coming up this year. It is going to take place in place of the All-Star game. So no All-Star game in the NHL this year. It is the first ever Four Nations Faceoff. It comes up February 12th through the 20th. Now, the NHL season will shut down from February 12th through the 20th for this event. It features the top players from the United States, Canada, Sweden, and Finland. Each team will play 3 games, with the top 2 teams playing a winner-take-all final. Now, I'm personally more interested in this event than in an all-star game. I've been to the all-star game. It's a fun event to see in person, but honestly, as a TV event, which is kind of the most important part of all of this, it's pretty stale. And I think that's been the way of most of these all-star games, regardless of the sport. The Pro Bowl has gone away completely in football. It's just like I don't even think it's a flag football game. I don't even know. I stopped watching the Pro Bowl so after they stopped tackling. The NBA All-Star game, they score like 200 points. It's ridiculous. And the baseball All-Star game, it's still probably the best one, but even that has lost its luster as well with interleague play, and players aren't all that interested in participating in these events. So the NHL has tried to come up with something different, and that is an international type tournament. Now, this is not the first time the NHL has done this. They had the World Cup of Hockey. If you're watching on the YouTube channel, I'm actually wearing Drew Doughty's Team Canada World Cup of Hockey jersey that he autographed back in the day. So they had the World Cup of Hockey, which was in 1996, 2004, and 2016. That event featured 8 teams in action. We talked about the U.S., Canada, Finland, and Sweden. They took part, but so did Russia, Czechia, Germany, and Switzerland. So that's the problem, though, with this Four Nations event, that it's only the 4 teams. So there's a lot of really good, talented players that will not get a chance to participate in this event because of the Russian war with Ukraine. The NHL has decided to not include Russia, and apparently that has, caused them to just try and do this Four Nations tournament. So we did get some good news, though, for an LA King. Earlier today, we found out that Adrian Kempe will, in fact, be a part of this Four Nations face-off. He is representing his native Sweden. Very well deserved. I certainly thought he was definitely going to be on the team, but you never know until they actually get picked. So we'll have at least one LA King participating in this event, and that is Adrian Kempe representing Team Sweden in the Four Nations face-off. The only thing is, don't get hurt. This is not, all-star games, the guys go half speed, they don't hit. There's very little chance you're going to get hurt in an all-star game. That's not the case in this Four Nations tournament. Matter of fact, who knows? They may even play, I would guess, harder than a regular season game. You're representing your country. You want to win this event for your country. So they're going to be hitting. They're going to be playing hard in this event. And somebody's going to unfortunately get hurt. And you just keep your fingers crossed it's not somebody from your team. So good luck to Adrian Kempe. Good health. And hopefully he plays well for Team Sweden. The U.S. and Canada rosters are going to be announced at 6:30 Eastern time today. Kings defenseman Drew Doughty apparently has an outside chance to make the Canada squad. Now, that's not certain. Obviously, he's injured, but he is expected to be back for the Kings in January. So this event takes place in February. Obviously, he's healing up from that fractured ankle he suffered in the preseason. Now, if he does make the Team Canada roster, he's expected to be one of the final players selected. He'd be the 7th defenseman on the team, but would be great to see for Drew. I know how much it means to him to be able to represent his country. And it would also maybe give him a little bit of a positive for the Kings in that he's coming back from this injury. This will get him some extra work against top flight competition. So maybe that actually will help propel him with the Kings into the playoff push in February and March. So could actually be a positive for Drew Doughty if he, in fact, gets on the Team Canada roster. We'll update you on that news coming up on tomorrow's show. But tonight, we've got Kings versus Stars, 7 p.m. face-off LA time. The game will not be televised locally. It will be televised nationally on TNT, and you can always hear the game on the 710 ESPN app. For you everydayers, those of you that listen and watch Locked On LA Kings every day, coming up on Thursday, obviously we'll recap, hopefully a Kings win over the Stars. They look to extend that winning streak. And then on Friday, we'll have another Kings Fan Feedback Show. The email address to get in on that is lockedoneddie@gmail.com, EDDIE. As always, you can leave your comments if you're watching on YouTube in the comment section. We appreciate that. And we also would love for you to stay interactive with the show on social media, X, Twitter, and Instagram. We are at Locked On LA Kings. Thanks for making Locked On LA Kings your first listen today. For your second listen, check out Locked On Fantasy Hockey. Become a fantasy hockey expert and get the edge over your league with daily tips from Steal and Flip. Just check out Locked On Fantasy Hockey on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Eddie Garcia. Thank you, as always, for listening and watching this episode of Locked On LA Kings, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Have a great rest of your day. We'll talk to you tomorrow. And as always, go Kings, go.